having an amazing day so far. Welcome to episode 4 of Convos with Caleb. I'm Caleb Herring. I'm a pianist by trade. Check out the other videos on the channel. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That'd be awesome. Helps out a ton. This topic here and what I want to talk about today is, how long it took me to get better at playing the piano, what my experience has been, kind of how I started. So I guess I'll get right into it. I started playing piano about 12 years ago, so I've been playing for a total of 12 years. I started when I was in middle school, and I had a great teacher. He was also my middle school choir teacher. His name was Mr. Looney. I went to his house once a week for about 30 minutes to an hour. So I took piano lessons, was the foundation of it all. I was first exposed to the piano by a family member of mine, my Uncle Mike. Had took me in the garage probably a couple years before I actually started learning. So probably I was like 10 or 11. I started learning when I was 13. Linked up with my Uncle Mike. He took me in his garage and he played a little bit of everything. I think he had like a little drum set. He definitely could play guitar. Then he had like a little 61 key keyboard, and he was just playing around on it. But it was so cool to me, just how he had that skill, and I think that was the seed. Actually, I know that was the seed of me, kind of falling in love with the instrument. So fast forward 2 years, I'm in choir class, and Mr. Looney is one of the greatest pianists I've ever heard in my life. Shout out Mr. Looney. And when you're around something or somebody that does something that good, it just inspires you to, kind of want to be like him. And so I had gotten in contact with Mr. Looney about the possibility, meeting after school for piano lessons. He could teach me a little bit. I wasn't entirely sure he would be, able to do that, one, being a teacher in a student relationship, and also I wasn't sure if he would, if that's something he did. Come to find out, both were good to go. He wanted to do it, and he was able to do it. And I took piano lessons for probably 3 or 4 years. But the thing about it was, I was in piano lessons learning to read music. At this point in time now, like current day, I don't know how to read music. I kind of play by ear, and I can read chords, and I figure out the melodies by ear. So the piano lessons, they were good. They taught me the theory and everything, the basic foundation of what it is to play the piano. But I also quit the piano lessons after 3 to 4 years. So once I got early into high school, freshman, sophomore year, I stopped playing or stopped taking lessons. I would still, I knew a few songs, and I would have people come over, and I would, play for them there and play for them, just a little something that I had memorized. So I always played a little bit here and there. And I was playing pretty often. I had one in my room, got bored, played the keyboard. But I kind of stayed at this same level of, basic. I wouldn't even say intermediate. I don't think I would say I wasn't at an intermediate level just yet. I was kind of just playing basic melodies, basic chords. This is, I was starting to get introduced to chords, reading chords, and trying to figure stuff out by ear. And I would say I stayed at that level. This is crazy. And like I said, I would play pretty often. Not like a couple hours a day, but 30 minutes, 45 minutes a day, or every other day. Probably was what it would average out to if you really look down to it. But I think I would consider myself at a basic level for probably 5 to 6 years. So from 13 to like 19, I would say, I never really elevated. And once I was in college, so I had moved out of, where I was originally staying. I actually didn't take my keyboard with me. So I had limited access to be able to play. But every weekend and every day, after classes and everything for my freshman year, there was this really, really nice 88 key fully digital piano at the college I was going to, and I would go there basically every night. So even though I didn't have my own keyboard in my room or anything, I would go there every night, and then I would play on the weekends as well during the day. And this is when I started taking my bigger steps, progress-wise, and getting better and better and better. And this is when I first started playing shows. My first show ever was my freshman year. It was called the Winter Classic or Winter Showcase. It was a talent show format, so it wasn't like they had called me and booked me or anything, but I was able to put my name on the list, and I was able to play that. So I took this next step, I would say, into intermediate. So from basic to intermediate. Now I think I stayed at the intermediate level for probably 3 years. So from 19, let me extend that to 5 years, so 24, 19 to 24, I stayed at a level of, I was pretty decent. I could hold my own. I could pull up basically, I would say not all songs, probably like 85, 90% of songs I could figure out. If you gave me some time sitting at the keyboard, I could probably figure it out. At that level, like I said, I would call that intermediate. And now here I am 25. So for the past 2 years, I had recently made another move. So I moved out of state completely. And this is where I've took the biggest strides in music in the last year or two, into the realm of being able to play restaurants and weddings and different events and venues. So there's still ways to go. So much improvement to go. But as I said at the beginning of the video, to be able to see where I'm at now compared to where we started at 12 years ago is actually pretty incredible. And it's a life lesson as well. Just it took 12 years to get to the level I am now, which isn't even great. I would just consider myself good at the time, and that speaks volumes to life in general. How long it takes to be good at something. Not even great at something. To be good at something. It takes time. So just stick with it. Be patient. Try to get it in every single day, because the days add up. I mean, 12 years, it sounds like a long time, but I mean, it flew by, and it was just something, I kind of worked on it a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. And here we are 12 years later, and, it's awesome to be able to see, and I'm excited, to see where it goes from here, to see the growth from here, the next level, per se, of, what we're going to take the piano to. I'm excited to see that. Share what instrument you guys are learning in the comments. I want to hear all about what you're doing. I'd love to connect with you. If you're a musician, I would love to collaborate with you, see what we can do, put together. But yeah, thanks for checking out the video, Convos with Caleb. Like I said, check out the other videos on the channel. That would be awesome. But for now, have a great rest of your day.